Good day, everybody. Hope you're all doing well, and welcome to rainy Paraguay. We're sitting here at Asuncion. We're heading down south to Montevideo, which should be better weather. It's down in Uruguay. It's on the coast, so it should be a good flight. We've got Eastbird sitting out there in the KLM. And I'm here in the LATAM in the Star Wars livery as we are running for this series of flights. So ATC, well, we have ATC not on our route. They're on beside us down in Argentina. We're not going to cross into them, but I'm hoping it's a good sign that we may get some ACT up on the flight. We'll see what happens. Oh, Nightbot, what are you doing? Thought I rewrote you this morning. I did rewrite you this morning. Interesting. It's an older message. Anyway. We're going to get going. Once we get in the air, we'll have some a little bit of a different in-flight entertainment, bit of a documentary. And it's about an hour and 30-minute flight, so it should all be good. So let's hop on board the aircraft, and we'll start getting her set up. So this is, of course, the fly-by-wire in the developer build. It is a little out of date. I haven't updated it in a few days, so there may be some additions, but it was working good last time I had it, so not expecting any issues. Alright, so parking brake on, flaps up, spoilers retracted and disarmed, weather radar is off, predicted wind shear is off, engine masters 1 and 2 are in cutoff, engine mode selector is normal, thrust levers are in idle, gear lever is down, and 3 green. Alright, batteries coming on. Sternal power is available and is connected, and cockpit lights. So I think we're getting closer to the PMDG DC-6. They've been releasing more videos on how it works. It looks like a very interesting aircraft. I have a plan for it, as I've stated in the past, and I will, when we get there, well, when it's released, I'm going to do some training flights in the UK with it, and we will just get a feel for the airplane, and then once we're comfortable, we'll start our plan, which I'll open up to anybody. If you want to get the DC-6 and you want to join me on the series of flights we'll be doing, more than welcome to do that. Should be a lot of fun, and there's going to be a lot of legs on this flight. Alright, so APU fire test. APU fire test, good crew oxygen supply is on ADIRS 1, 2, and 3 are now aligning. We have wing lights, nav and logo lights are on. Seatbelt signs are now on. The no portable devices sign is now on, and the emergency exits are armed. And cabin crew, you can begin boarding. Annunciator lights checked as required. Probe and window heats are on auto. Aircraft temperatures. Turn the temperatures down. Batteries are good. Fuel pumps are confirmed off. Engine tests. Engine fire test 1. And engine fire test 2. Very good. Our initial barometer is currently 1017. We'll dial that in. EFIS is 10 arc, no constraints, and 40 arc, no constraints. FCU will set up in a minute. Radios, we'll go to 122.8. And we'll switch that over. That's our Unicom and MCDU data. So let's turn on the iPad. We'll come down here. Flight plan coming in. There we go. SGAS to SUMU. Tropo's pretty close. 40162. It's not at all what I typed. 40162. There we go, and that is all set. So we're going to come in over here. We'll send off a weather request. And we'll come back. We'll go into our weight and balance. This is up. Let's bring in my password here, since I no longer trust typing in here directly for anything. Alright, you can see the weather. We're getting hit by this little cell right here. It's off to our east, but I'm sure the cloud cover is covering us here. And we're going to go to dispatch. We're going to go to fuel. Pop that out. Fuel for this load is 6270. 6270 is entered, and we're going to go for real time. What happened there? We're going to go real time. Or maybe we won't be going real time. Fast. Okay, there seems to be an issue. So we're just going to tell it to do that. Alright, our fueling is done. So 6270, that's including an extra 200 for taxis, so that is all good. We can go over to our payload. 18260, 174 passengers, and that is all good as well. So 59.3 and 30, we are good. So 59.3 and 30.0, block fuel of 6.2. And our winds for today, we have a tailwind of 42 knots. It always works out. One way or the other. It'll all work out eastwards. So there's everything entered in for there. We are good. So let's go to the flight plan. We're going to be departing here on runway 02 because the winds are 080 at 6.
On behalf of the cabin crew, I'd like to welcome you aboard our flight. As you find your seat, be sure to place your large and carry-on items in the overhead bins and smaller items underneath the seat in front
And
of
we're
you.
going off the ITEPI departure.
For any of your carry-on items, please
and our first waypoint on today's flight is Asti. So we're going via Asti, it's correct.
Make sure you close it as a courtesy to other
So we'll
passengers.
insert that. For the
Please
arrival,
check that all your items are put away so that the aisle is clear and other passengers can make their way to their seats.
it
If you're in an
is
emergency
going to be
exit
the
row,
ILS
please read the
for
exit
runway
responsibilities in
24.
the card in the seat back in front of you. If you're not able to comply with these actions, please let a flight attendant know so that way you can be refuted. Now's the time to get out any
We'll be
last
going in
minute
via
text
the
messages if you need to, but we ask that once you
Monsig
depart
1
for today,
Golf.
put away any laptops or tablets. Thank you and welcome aboard.
And I think we're going to go in on... We're going to go in on... I know it wants Kevis. We don't want Kevis. That's the far one. We want Conby. And we'll insert. Spitfire. Sorry, who's that? Where are you seeing a Spitfire? I don't see a Spitfire. Uh-oh, Eastbirds. Are you getting, Yeah, you're getting the bot upset. I was gonna say, I don't see a Spitfire anywhere. Anyway, back to work. Actually, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in, we're gonna check this now. See how our route is. So we're going to take off, we're going to head up out on the runway, they're going to return back down to pick up the direct plan out from the airport. I'm going to step down. And we head down towards the coast here. And that is looking pretty good. Should be kind of a direct in for the ILS intercept. So that is looking fine. And you can go back to there and you go back to there. Alright, so the MCU data is in. What we're going to do is we're going to come back in here and we'll take a look at the weather that we got out of the sim to make sure it's lining up. Take a look at it. 0 at 6, yeah, visibility, it's kind of misted in. Scattered clouds at 2,000, 20 degrees, 1017. So that's all matching. So that is very good. We'll turn up the standby. And 1017 on the standby. Just get a little bit more brightness on the MCDUs. Alright. So that's that in. RadNav, there's nothing really to add in. Although we will put in the VOR. So if we go to RadNav, we put in the VAS VOR, Victor Alpha Sierra. It's the one here at the airport, 115.9. We can turn that on. That'll give us a reference. IFR clearance, we'll take it as given. There is no ATC online. IRS alignment. IRS is...
We're ready to go when you are.
IRR are aligned and the cabin is set. Flight plan has been reviewed. EFIS nav aids, we are set for the EFIS. Takeoff briefing. Standard on the briefing as it goes, you know. Anything happen before V1 will come to a stop on the runway. First officer will handle communications. Captain will handle the immediate actions, and then they'll run the checklists for the issue. Anything less than a engine failure after V1 and before rotation, they'll take into the air. Anything after rotation, they'll take into the air. First officer will handle communications, captain will handle the immediate actions, and then they'll run the checklist for the issues. That's pretty standard stuff. Squawk is 7,000, that is set. So we're already in the back, aircraft is all loaded. And for some reason they hooked up to the tail with the jetway. It's fairly bizarre. Let's see if they'll take that away from there. There it goes.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard Flight 5556. Our flight time will be roughly 1 hour and 28 minutes.
All right.
Please note the cabin door is now closed.
APU is now coming online.
All devices are in airplane mode, and your larger devices are now shut down and stowed. If you have not already, please fasten your seatbelt and verify it is low and tight across your lap.
Transition altitude for this airport is 3,000 feet.
Upright and locked position for departure. Flight attendants, please prepare cabin for departure.
It's going to be a flaps 1 with 0.3 down. No flex, and that will give us our 123, 124, 127, 128. for RV speeds. Alright, so that is everything there. And we are set. So our V speeds are showing in the display here, 123. And it will show once I pull the thing and get us ready to go, so we can put those in. In a second. We are set. APU is on. APU bleeds coming online. This is for the fans. Alright, APU bleeds are online. External power is now disconnected. Fuel pumps coming off. And we are good. So windows and doors are all locked. Cockpit door is now secured. Fuel pumps are on. Beacon light is on. Steering pin, we'll treat it as inserted. Transponder is now on. And we will call the tug. Here he comes. So the pushback is going to be basically straight back, as we are going to be taxiing down to the far end over there. So he's now moving in to position. Everything looks good. Release parking brakes. And we will begin our push. I don't think Wayne's in VatSim. I don't see him. We're the only two aircraft listed here at this airport.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Ignition
please direct
to
your attention to the screen for an important
start.
safety demonstration.
Starting engine number 1.
Thank you for flying with us.
Estimados pasajeros, es un placer tenerlos a bordo de la TAM. Por su seguridad y confort, solicitamos poner atención a las instrucciones de seguridad de este avión. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to have you on board La TAM. For your safety and comfort, please pay attention to the safety instructions for this aircraft. Por favor, acompáñenos. Please join us. Guarda el equipaje de mano en el compartimiento superior o bajo el asiento de adelante.
We'll go
Store
straight.
your carry-on baggage in the overhead
And we can
compartment
stop.
or underneath the seat in front of you. Pasillos, salidas de emergencia y primera fila deben estar libres de equipaje. Aisles, emergency exits, and the first row must be kept clear of luggage. Ajusta su cinturón de seguridad cada vez que la señal se ilumine. Fasten your seatbelt whenever
Parking
the
brake is
seatbelt
on.
sign is illuminated. Para abrocharlo, inserte la punta de metal en la hebilla y ajústelo tirando la correa.
Alrighty.
Para abrirlo, levante la tapa de la hebilla. To fasten it, insert the metal, clip it to the buckle, and tighten it by pulling on the
he's
loose
leaving.
end of the strap. To unfasten it, lift the top part of the buckle.
And that is
Le recomendamos
good
mantener
start.
su cinturón de seguridad abrochado y visible durante todo el
On
vuelo,
engine number
aunque la
1.
señal esté
Number
apagada.
1's available.
We also recommend to keep your seatbelt fastened and
Starting engine
visible
number
throughout
2.
the flight, even when the fastened seatbelt sign is off. Los pasajeros deben cumplir con las instrucciones de la tripulación, letreros y señales luminosas. Passengers must follow all instructions given by crew members, signs and lights. Está prohibido fumar a bordo, inclusive cigarrillos electrónicos. Manipular los detectores de humo en los baños está prohibido por ley. Smoking on board is forbidden. This also includes electronic cigarettes. Tampering with smoke detectors in lavatories is prohibited by law. Dispositivos electrónicos, incluyendo teléfonos celulares, pueden ser usados durante todo el vuelo siempre que estén en modo avión. Electronic devices, including cell phones, may be used throughout the flight in airplane mode only.
Engine 2's coming up.
Dispositivos de mayor tamaño como computadores personales deben estar apagados y guardados durante rodaje, despegue y aterrizaje. While taxiing, takeoff and landing, larger devices such as personal computers must be turned off and stowed. Los de menor tamaño como teléfonos móviles o tablets deben ser sujetados o guardados en el bolsillo del asiento. Smaller ones such as cell phones and
Looks like that
tablets
rain is
need
now
to be
moved
held
out.
or stowed in the seat pocket in front of you. Si se le cae un dispositivo en el asiento,
Still
no
pretty
intente
overcast
sacarlo
though.
y
It
avise
did say there was
inmediatamente
a
a la
layer at
tripulación.
2,000
If a device
feet.
falls into the crack of the seat, do not
Good
try
start.
and remove it, but immediately
Engine
call
2.
a crew member. En
APU bleed
preparación para
off.
el despegue, asegure su mesa, ponga su
APU
respaldo en
master
posición
off.
vertical y guarde la pantalla plegable si
Igniters
su
to
asiento
normal.
la tiene. For takeoff, secure your tray table, put your seat back in its upright
Asuncion
position,
traffic,
and tuck the
KLM
radios
850 ready for
compartment
pushback
in
and
your
start
seat as
facing
well.
south.
Alright, auto brakes. Auto brakes on to max. Spoilers armed. Kevin, thank you very much for the subscription. Greatly appreciated. Thank you. Welcome to the stream.
This aircraft has 8 emergency exits equipped with evacuation
Anti-ice, we're not going to need it today. Flight controls. Full left.
Evacuation slides at
full
the
right.
doors can be
Neutral.
used as life rafts.
Full forward. Full back. Neutral.
Un sistema de iluminación de
Left rudder.
emergencia lo guiará
Right
hacia
rudder.
las salidas.
Neutral.
An
And we have
emergency
brakes.
lighting system will lead you to the exits.
Going
Localice
3
su
down
salida más
on
cercana a la que
the
podría
trim.
estar detrás de usted. Locate the nearest
And
exit, which may be behind you.
Rudder trim
En
is
caso de evacuación,
showing
deje sus
neutral and
pertenencias a
indicating
bordo.
0.
In an event of an evacuation, leave your personal belongings
Steering
on
pin
board.
has been disconnected.
Encontrará su chaleco
Alright.
salvavidas debajo de su asiento o bajo el apoyabrazos
Put the
central.
taxi lights on.
Retírelo de la bolsa. Páselo sobre su cabeza.
Eastbirds is pushing
Abroche la
back.
cinta en la parte delantera y
Parking brake is
ajústela a la
removed.
cintura.
Asuncion traffic, TAM 5556, taxiing apron 1, Kilo, Bravo, Alpha, to runway 02, holding short 02.
Remove it from the back, slip it over your head. Fasten the belt at the front.
Alright, let's get her going.
Sobre su asiento. If the cabin loses pressure, masks will automatically drop down from above your seat. Tome la máscara, colóquela sobre su nariz y boca, deslice la banda elástica alrededor de su cabeza, ajústela y respire normalmente. Coloque su propia máscara antes de asistir a niños u otras personas. Pull the mask toward you, place it over your nose and mouth, secure the elastic band behind your head, and breathe normally.
They're still doing their thing in the back, so I'm going to leave them to it.
Children or others. En caso de requerir mayor información, le invitamos a leer nuestra tarjeta con información de seguridad ubicada en el bolsillo frente a usted. If you need more information, you are welcome to take a look at our safety information card located at the seat pocket in front of you. Gracias por su atención y disfrute su vuelo con LATAM. Thank you for your attention and enjoy your flight with LATAM.
Yeah, that's the joys of the flight sim there, Eastbirds. Sometimes the weather matches great, sometimes not so much. Alright, so let's ding the cabin now that they're all done with their thing. What? No voice today? Ah. We'll do our TO config test. We come off of that page. Config test is done.
Camera crews user take off.
There we go. Yeah, there is a haze out here. We'll see how that plays out. So it's actually, if I go into RadNav, it wants us to intercept the 178 radial. So I'll punch that in. Clear that. Back to performance. And we'll see if we can do an intercept on this thing the way the chart shows instead of coming directly back to the airport. So what I'm basically going to do is I'm going to take off and then I'm going to fly reciprocal, which will be 200 degrees. Let's just check. 200 degrees until we come up and we intercept. So it's going to be climb out to Burva, right turn to 200 degrees and then fly 200 degrees to intercept the 178 radial from the VAS VOR, which should take us out to I-tape.
Asuncion traffic, KLM 850, ready for taxi runway 02 via Kilo Bravo Alpha.
Wayne, please do not write the name of your dog in the chat. That could cause problems. Because, yes, I know that story. Alright, we're here at runway 02. Yeah, a little bit of rain. You can see water on the windshield here. Alright, brakes are set. So, before takeoff, cabin crew has been notified. Exterior lights are coming up. Strobe on, wing lights on, and a nose light to takeoff. Anti-ice not required. Packs are going to remain on. TCAS going on. TARA tilt above. Weather radar is on. PWS is on. Weather radar mode is WX plus T. And takeoff memo, no blue. Hi, Captain Maddie. How are you? Just in time for the takeoff. So, glide path is clear. Asuncion traffic, TAM 5556, taking position runway 02. Let's go back outside. Yeah, you can definitely see the misty mist in the trees off in the distance there as they're kind of getting washed out there. Let's get the mess out of the way. I'm gonna had a couple requests for the mouse just for people that are new so they could see what I was doing and what I was hitting. So that's why I leave the mouse on nowadays. Alright, well, we're sort of lined up. Okay, so we'll do the clock for the actual runway to runway time. And we are set to go. Asuncion area traffic, TAM 5556, rolling runway 02 on the I-tape departure. Engines to 50%. There's eastwards coming down the taxiway. Engines are stable, brakes are released. Throttles to takeoff power. Might as well. Oh yeah. Let's forget all the things today, right? There's some rain, and away we go. That completely blow my free speeds, so gear up, flaps up, climbing to 5,000. Actually, just gonna go ahead and dial in 38,000. No cartoon today, Captain Maddie. It's a documentary, airplane related. Thrust levers back to climb. We're going to go manual heading. It said manual heading. Autopilot. Come on. Flaps coming up. Kind of all over the place today on this one. standard pressure. Climbing the flight level 380. We're heading out to the VOR here. Us up to the VOR, so we're going to do a right turn to 020 or 029, I think is the actual runway heading. Let's do a quick look at that. 026 is the runway heading. Go 026. Or 206. So that puts us on the reciprocal for the runway.
Ladies and gentlemen,
and we'll fly that to the intercept of the VOR.
Larger portable electronic devices. This is also a reminder to please keep your seatbelt fastened throughout the duration of the flight and do not form a line near the lavatory. This aircraft is equipped with onboard Wi-Fi. If you wish to connect to the Wi-Fi, you'll be directed to a page to pay a small fee for internet
We'll leave the
access.
seatbelts on. It's still a little bit choppy here. We're in the clouds.
Thanks to our partners. Connect to the Wi-Fi and you'll be able to access our wide range of free live TV.
Asuncion traffic KLM 850, line up runway 02 for I-10 departure.
So again, RadNav 178 on the VAS, and we'll see how that comes in. And we don't want to be heading right to the airport. So now we're going back parallel to the runway. Back up right, and nice sea blue sky. There we go. So we're popping out. Very nice. You can see we're coming up to the point we're going to intercept that path, which was what we want. We'll go into heading mode at that point. And that will take us out on course. And again, once we get above 20,000 feet and we get ourselves set in, we'll go to the entertainment. So everything is looking good so far. We're out of the clouds, so the seatbelt signs can come off. Definitely got some weather off to our sides there.
Turned off the fasten seatbelt sign. You can now get up and move about the cabin. However, we ask that you keep your seatbelt fastened when needed in case of unexpected turbulence.
So before we start doing our thing, just want to look at our descent profiles. And our altitudes we're going to want. Conby, we're going to want 3,000 feet. So we'll go to our performance. Again, I'm going to pop this out and tell it to sync. And then I want 3,000 feet. Come out. And that'll give us our distance that we have to start our descent. And we'll come down here. And it is Conby. C-O-N-B-I.
Asuncion traffic, KLM 850, climbing
5,500
to Durva.
or 555 miles. Oop, and I missed my turn because I was doing other stuff. I'm all over the place today. Not my usual level of professionalism. Which is still iffy at times, but so we're heading on to Asti as the next point. And we will intercept Asti. It looks like we got a solid overcast or cloud layer for a lot of this. At least up at this end of the route. And eastward is climbing out now. So it is all good. So let's get set up in the back. I will be on speaker while we're doing this. Or on speaker. I'll be in chat, off mic. Bring up the route. And it's a little bit of a special presentation, given that today is the 6th of June. I thought this might be not appropriate, but it's theme related. Anyway, so let me just check which one it is. That's fine. Although this did happen, well, I guess it was around the same period anyway. I think it was the year before, 1943. Anyway, I'm going to throw the movie on. Enjoy. We'll talk to you again in a bit.
This is a battlefront. A battlefront like no other in the long history of mankind's wars. This is an air front. working day begins, as it will end, with the ground crews, as much a part of the fortress as her wings. If you're a mechanic, you've got your own bomber. You get attached to it. But you know when your ship goes out on a mission, you may never see it again. So you do your work as well as it can be done, perfectly. Because you wouldn't want anything to go wrong that would be your fault. Today the bombs will be taken from these bomb dumps somewhere in England and delivered to specific points in Wilhelmshaven, Germany. To deliver them is the job of the 8th Bomber Command, just a hauling job, yet one of the most difficult and complicated of military operations. General-purpose demolition bombs, impact velocity as high as 750 miles an hour, pierce 5 inches of armor plate, destroy a factory. Briefing at 0800. Pilots, bombardiers, and navigators take their places. The group commander, Colonel Stanley Ray, steps up to the target map, and for the first time you learn where you're going. Sometimes your face turns white when you find out. Sometimes the feeling you won't come back tightens your insides. Not so long ago, you were sitting like this in a college or high school classroom, not listening too hard, perhaps even a little sleepy. But you listen here. And as you listen, you don't have time to think of yourself. Fear fades. You concentrate on the mission, type of formation, assembly point, 0 hour, route to target, weather, enemy fighters, enemy flak, route back home. If forced down in enemy territory, destroy equipment. If taken prisoner, give no information, name, rank, and serial number. That's all. These are the passengers with one-way tickets. And this is the crew of the Memphis Belle, 324th Squadron, 91st Heavy Bombardment Group. Just one plane and one crew, in one squadron, in one group, of one wing, of one Air Force, out of 15 United States Army Air Forces. Well, fellas, we've never had an easy ride over there yet. And today won't be any different. No escort except unfriendly. So keep your eyes peeled. Don't get excited and yell when you're talking on the intercom. Save your ammunition and make your shots count. Let me know what goes on back there, Quinlan. Yes, sir. Stay on the ball, gang, and she'll bring us back like she's always done. Okay? Let's go. They have completed 24 missions in this, the toughest theater of air war, the big league of sky fighting. Their experience is priceless. And so, if the Memphis Belle comes back this afternoon, they will be sent to bring the vital lessons they have learned to thousands of aircrew men in training at home. Home is America. Battlefront, like no other in this or any war. No monster armies, no booming cannon. Only the roaring engine sound of the bombers pounding through the quiet English countryside. This is an air front.
Starting our in-flight service. We'll be serving complimentary drinks and snacks. Please look in your seat back for a list of complimentary drinks. Premium drinks are available for a small charge. If you wish to make an additional purchase, we only accept credit cards.
Soil of England, with its ordered farms and rural hamlets, its country estates surrounded by formal gardens and well-kept parks. The England these Americans knew only from the classics they had to read in school. The England of the towns and cities, whose people have defended their island's freedom for over 1,000 years. But today, their countryside has changed. Today, their island has been converted into a gigantic bomber field, a super aircraft carrier anchored off the shores of Fortress Europe, with hangars and machine shops, with hundreds of dispersal points, perimeter tracks, and concrete runways. This is England in its 5th year of war. And this is the new battlefront, the air front, from which we seek out the enemy. Not his infantry or his artillery, not his panzer divisions, but the greater menace, the industrial heart of his nation, the foundation on which the Nazi Empire and its armies stand, the power behind the German lust for conquest. The steel mills and refineries, shipyards and submarine pens, factories and munitions plants, pinpoints on the map of Europe which mean rubber, guns, ball bearings, shells, engines, planes, tanks, targets. Targets to be destroyed. And these are the destroyers, each with a belly full of bombs, and 10 men like the crew of the Memphis Belle. Pilot Captain Robert Morgan, industrial engineer from Asheville, North Carolina. He's flown this ship across the Atlantic. The other pilot, Captain Jim Verinis, business administration student of the University of Connecticut. Radio operator and gunner, Sergeant Bob Hansen, construction worker from Spokane, Washington. Navigator, Captain Chuck Layton, chemistry student at Ohio Wesleyan. Engineer and top turret gunner, Sergeant Harold Locke, from Green Bay, Wisconsin. Used to be a stevedore. Besides keeping the Belle in order, he covers the sky above. Tail gunner, Sergeant John Quinlan of Yonkers, New York. Clerked for a carpet company, but he quit. December 8, 1941. Ball turret gunner, Sergeant Cecil Scott, pressman for a rubber company in Rahway, New Jersey. Pilot to crew, 10,000, put on oxygen. They're climbing higher now, 300 feet a minute. The strain on the planes and on the men is mounting. The rest of the crew, Bombardier Captain Vincent Evans, operated a fleet of trucks in Fort Worth, Texas. Waste gunners, on the right, Sergeant Bill Winchell, chemist for a paint company in Chicago. And on the left, Sergeant Tony Nastow, used to repair washing machines in Detroit when he was a kid. Now he's 19 and has 2 Nazi fighters, confirmed. It takes all of a pilot's strength to keep a 30-ton fortress in tight formation. But the formation is the bomber's best defense against enemy fighters. The planes are deployed to uncover every gun, stepped up and down, echelon to the right and left, arranged to overcome the danger of gunners firing into friendly ships, arranged so concentrated cones of fire from the caliber 50 machine guns cover the sky for 1,000 yards in every direction. The friendly coast of England slips by below. It doesn't look like much now, but in a few hours when you come back, if you come back, this will be the most beautiful view in the world. Higher and higher, climbing to reach your best operational altitude, 25,000 feet, 5 miles straight up. So high you can't be seen from the ground with the naked eye. So high that after 1 minute without oxygen you lose consciousness. After 20 minutes, you're dead. From now to the target, you go about your routine duties, plot your course, check your equipment, wait, and think. Higher and colder. Temperature 40 degrees, below zero. Take off your glove and you lose some fingers. You look out at the strange world beyond. Reflections in plexiglass, like nothing you ever saw before, outside of a dream. Higher and higher into the lifeless stratosphere, until the exhaust of the engines mixing with the cold, thin air condenses and streams the heavens with vapor trails. They're far from beautiful, for they point like beckoning fingers to the formation, signposts in the sky for the enemy to spot us. For these bombers to accomplish their mission, a plan is needed. Carefully worked out, timed to the minute. The job is to bomb Wilhelmshaven effectively and economically. The enemy is strong, skillful, determined to stop us. Here are his defenses. Airdromes, well dispersed. Each plane indicates a Staffel, or squadron of fighters. Heavy anti-aircraft, highly trained and accurate, all along the coast and defending his vital installation. Radar to warn him of our coming. Here is our plan to divide his defenses and weaken his opposition. At 13:30 hours, shortly after takeoff, 6 groups of planes will be heading toward the enemy coast from 6 directions. The Blue Force, 100 B-24 Liberator 4-engine bombers. The White Force, 300 B-17 Flying Fortresses. The Green Force, 300 B-17s with an escort of 6 squadrons of P-47 Thunderbolts. A force of B-26 Marauders, twin-engine medium bombers with 6 squadrons of RAF Spitfires escorting. Almost 1,000 planes and over 8,000 men in the air. The enemy alerts all his airdromes. But which is our main force? What are our targets? Where should the Nazi controllers send their fighters? It's our job to make them guess, and guess wrong. A half hour later, at 1400 hours, the Blue Force will be heading east across the North Sea, with the White Force following. These enemy fighters are tied down, waiting to meet them, will not be able to attack the Green Force. These fighters must come up to attack the Green Force, and thus will be no threat to the Blue and White Forces. The B-26s and Spitfires will bomb and strafe a key rail junction, diverting these 6 Stockholm and preventing the enemy from concentrating too many fighters on the Green Force, which is scheduled to bomb an aircraft factory at Hanover. At 1430 hours, the Blue Force will threaten this entire coastal area of northwestern Germany. Which target will it be? Flensburg? The Kiel Canal? Or will it turn suddenly and bomb Hamburg, Vegesack, or Emden? Actually, it carries no bombs at all. It's a decoy and keeps the fighters from the northern area busy, while the White Force, the main effort, heads for the submarine pens of Wilhelmshaven. At 1500 hours, while the White Force is over its target, only a fraction of the available German fighter strength of the area can intercept it. Because of the Blue Force diversion and the simultaneous bombing of Hanover by the Green Force. This is the plan of battle for today, drawn up by the Combined Operations Planning Committee and approved by the Commanding General. The White Force, lead group, low squadron. We've crossed the invisible line of enemy radar. The Hun is expecting us. Steel helmets go on. Watchful eyes strain. Tight formations are held tighter still. Tense gunners more alert because here it comes. The enemy coast. From up here, it looks the same as any other. Houses, roads, green fields, factories, waterways. They are the houses and fields of those who invade and oppress. They are the factories and roads of the people who twice in one generation have flooded the world with suffering. Suffering in such quantity as the history of the human race has never known. Brought torment and anguish into countless American homes. Gold stars and telegrams from the War Department. The first flak, just harmless-looking, silent puffs of smoke. Only each puff is a shell exploding, throwing shrapnel around the sky. Exactly the range, accurate flak by radio prediction. 5 miles down, Nazi anti-aircraft batteries have calculated the altitude, speed, and course. Where will the next one hit? You try not to be there. The docks and submarine pens of Wilhelmshaven. Approach to the target starts. No smoke screen can protect it. Now the enemy knows the path of your approach and walls that path with a flak barrage, but you fly right through it. Flak so thick you can get out and walk on it. Morgan changes course every 15 seconds, evasive action to confuse the flak batteries. Bomb sight set for correct altitude and speed. Bomb bay doors open. The bombing run begins. Pilot to Bombardier. Okay, Vin, you got it. Now Evans flies the Memphis Belle, controlling it through the bomb sight. And now we are most vulnerable. Committed to our bombing run, we can't dodge flak or fighters. Here's the first. battle. Crosshairs lined up on target. Adjustments for wind drift made. 2 more fighters diving from 9 o'clock. Flak now has the range 2. They've hit this fort, but he keeps on his bombing run. As lead bombardier, Evans's aim must be good. Every other ship in the group will drop its bombs when he drops his. Now, one pointer on the bomb site moves toward another stationary pointer. The instant they touch, bombs will release. They touch. Bombs away.
Watch those 2 and 12, Ben. They're coming in.
They're coming in, Scotty.
Get that ball turret on them.
Maybe ammunition as much as possible.
Watch that fighter coming in at 3 o'clock.
He's coming in a half roll. Pull her up, Chief. Pull her up. Hurry. This fortress is hurt. Engine on fire, losing airspeed and altitude. Drifting into the flak, alone and helpless. A straggler. In a minute, Nazi fighters will swarm in like buzzards for the kill. You can watch, but you can't go down to help. You keep your formation.
Here, too, the mission is being flown. Nonetheless real, being in the minds and hearts of these men behind. Ask anybody who's been to a field in England, or anywhere else our bombers are based, and he'll tell you that there's drama here, too. Waiting to see who's coming back. To watch them, you might not realize how tense these ground crews are. They are tense, and plenty worried. In Air Force talk, this waiting is known as sweating out the mission. These men know the flight plan. Their watches told them when the bombers were running into enemy flak, when they were over the target, when they left the enemy coast. And now their watches tell them the bombers should be nearing the field. Every ear strains for the first sound of the engines. And then somebody hears them. And somebody sees the first faint specks in the distant sky. Every face turns to see and count. The watchers try to read the numbers on the ships. These planes have priority to land first. Colored flares mean wounded aboard. In the hospital window, these watching men know what that means. They know what it feels like to lie on a bouncing fortress floor for hundreds of miles through the frozen stratosphere. Great pain, with the other men in your crew fighting to keep you alive until they hit the field. The field. Home. It'll be okay then. Because there'll be medical care. The best. As soon as the wheels of your plane stop rolling.
Head wound. Concussion. 20-millimeter cannon shell exploded in his radio compartment. Shock. Internal injuries. He'll be all right. Flak burst scattered flying shrapnel. He's full of steel splinters. This pilot's leg is not a pretty sight. Neither are the docks at Phillips House. These men will all get the Purple Heart. And this man, too. Posthumously. A transfusion right in the plane. This gunner is too weak to be moved. The new life-giving blood flowing into his veins might be the blood of a high school girl in Des Moines, a miner in Alabama, a movie star in Hollywood, or it might be your blood, who's everything. Thanks. 36 planes left this field this morning. Now 6 more arrived. That makes 20 home. And this one's 21. More wounded aboard. Coming in with his left inboard engine dead. 23. The feathered prop on his left outboard engine. 24. Southern comfort with a chunk of tail gone.
25. They flew home on their luck. 26. Not a scratch. The control tower learns that 2 more landed at a British field to the south. 1 a crash landing. Proof safe. That makes 28. 29. A rough landing, but her pilot's badly hurt. It's a wonder he brought her back at all. 29 planes back so far. 29 out of 36. Our losses were heavy, but the enemy's were far heavier. We destroyed a German aircraft factory, a rail junction, submarine pens, docks, and harbor installations. That's specific, known damage. But who can tell the number of German torpedoes that will not be fired? The number of our convoys that will get through now? The soldiers' and seamen's lives that will be saved? Or the battles that will be won instead of lost? Because of what these bombers and airmen did today. Pilot and tail gunner. They can laugh now. Fire on the inboard engine did this. Flames streaked back and burned the stabilizer too. Another crew luck brought back. Here's old Bill. Pretty good airplane when it took off. Lost its nose, lost its navigator, bombardier wounded, top turret gunner, pilot hit, hydraulic system shot out, no brakes, no flaps. But old Bill came back. Now, among the returned crew members, talk flows like a river, talking out every detail of the mission. These are the faces of combat, faces of Americans who have watched their comrades die, faces that can never forget the enemy. They're in no mood to have their picture taken. In the control tower, Colonel Ray, Group CO, is still watching and waiting. And then he spots the last flight. 3 more planes. And one of them is the ship everyone's been pulling for.
The Memphis Belle. The last few miles of this trip have been a joyride. The strain is over. They can leave their guns now. Now they know they're going to go home. To Spokane, Green Bay, Asheville, Detroit, Chicago, Fort Worth, Yonkers. The Belle comes in for her landing. But first Morgan buzzes the field, cuts the grass with the giant fortress. It's against the rules, but this is a special occasion. that they will never forget. Another great day soon after, Brigadier General Hansel visited the field and presented the Distinguished Flying Cross to every member of the crew. And then there was another day. Their Majesties, King and Queen of England. Johnny Quinlan never thought anything like this would happen to him when he left Yonkers. The ground crew were a little self-conscious about being dressed in fatigues, but the Queen thought they were very nice. Finally, two more visitors came. General Aker, commanding the 8th Air Force, and General Devers, U.S. commander of the European Theater. The Bell crew received them in flying clothes, as General Aker read the order for what he called their 26th and most important mission. Return to America to train new crews and to tell the people what we're doing here. To thank them for their help and support, and tell them to keep it up, so we can keep it up. So we can bomb the enemy again and again and again until he has had enough. And then we can all come home. The 8th Air Force were now flying deep into Germany, bringing destruction to targets almost 1,000 miles from their bases. Destruction like this. And who have never once been turned back by the enemy. To those men, this film is gratefully dedicated.
Yeah, I have seen that one before. In a long time, though. But, no, it was good. I do have another one lined up somewhere as well on my list. It's another one of these military videos. Eastbirds, apparently you and Nightbot are not getting along. So the weather's cleared nicely here. We've got about 100 miles to go before we start our descent. So we're coming in. It's a very straightforward arrival. I'll pull it up here so we can take a look at it. So here's the chart. We're coming in here for Monza, and basically we just, at the Monza waypoint, we just turned down here to Conby. Conby's the point I've dialed in the 3,000 feet for our descent. And from Conby, it's just, as you can see, we just kind of fly out in this kind of direction and then turn in to pick up the ILS for the landing at Montevideo. And the airport itself, fair runway. We're coming in on a 10,500 foot runway, and then we'll be parking down here at the commercial apron 2, and hopefully down here at 13, 14, or 15 in the terminal here. So that's the plan. Like I said, we're getting close to our descent. No, it doesn't like all caps. It doesn't like repetitive keys. I've tried to give it some leeway in spacing, but sometimes it's just overzealous, let's say. So it's kind of gone almost cloudless. Now the current weather, we'll go in and pull up a new one in the sim, but the current MEDAR that I got for Montevideo is basically winds are 180 at 10, so hence we're going on 120 on 24, the big one. Few clouds at 1700, 13 degrees, so it's a little bit cooler, and 1023 on the pressure. Now there's no ATC. They've actually gone offline completely down in this area, so we'll see how that goes. But right now we're just cruising in. In fact, let's go back into the cockpit and we'll do the weather request now. Get it out of the way. Just wait for it to come in. There we go. So it's in. We can take a look at it, and pretty much what I said. So we'll print that out. We'll grab it. We'll enter our information, and I don't think that's going to be changing anytime soon. Came out at 1500, so yeah, it'll probably be still in effect when we get there and get ready for our descent. So we'll go to our performance, to our approach. So 1023. So get rid of that. We're just heading straight down to the coast now. 1023. Temperature of 13 degrees. Winds of 180. I missed the button. At 10. At 10. And the transition altitude for today's events is 3,000 feet. And the ILS is 305, the airport elevation 105, so it'll be 200 feet above the runway. Since it's a Cat 1, we'll just throw it in the barrel. And there we go. Oh, is it? Oh, thanks, Danny. Yeah, I would have found that eventually. Anyway, standard approach stuff. So we want 110. We're about 60 miles out. I am going to increase my speed to 270 during the descent, though, once we get down far enough. So I'm going to actually start my descent about 125 miles out. No, I saw your comment. Danny, and that's what I looked over and I saw it. Multiple screens, and sometimes I'm not focused on the other one. I don't see it. So because my speed's going to increase a little bit, we'll extend out the distance for our descent, which is fine, and we'll go from there. So I've been working on a couple things for the future. One of them is obviously the DC-6, planning a series for that after I get some flights in it and I get used to it. The other one is the next community flight. So I'm currently running a community flight on Friday nights. It is at 1930 Zulu, and in this series of flights we're currently flying from one end of Britain to the other. We've done 3 legs so far. We left the Isles of Scilly off the southwest coast of England. We flew up into Cornwall, into Devon, and then we crossed north into Wales, basically up to the Welsh border. Now we're back in Wales proper on the Irish Sea coast, and over the next several episodes we're going to work our way north and end up way up in the islands north of Scotland, and that's going to be the that path. I've been working on the next one, which is going to be a special one, and more on that will come out shortly. But I think I've got a route set up. It will be I believe 6 legs, but it'll be a good one. So I'm working on that, and I've got some other ideas that have been given to me as well. So I've also had some feedback from the community on what's going to come after we finish the South America tour and the Monday night tour, which is the Asian capitals. So I got some ideas for that one as well, which should be good. So lots of interesting stuff going on. But I think the DC-6 one will be interesting. I'm really looking forward to some other people with the DC-6 joining in. Don't have to do all the legs. There are going to be a lot of them. But whenever you want to join in, and you can join in, and with the DC-6, that would be really, really cool. All right, so we're getting down close. So I'm going to dial in 3,000 feet. There we go. And you can see we're at the airport now appearing on the screen. Not sure what the terrain is like around there. I think it's pretty flat. A lot of water out here. This is the let's see if we can figure out what lake it is. Lago Rincion del Bonete. That's this one here. We're going to be flying. I'm not sure if you can see it, but right ahead of us there's one. That's the Embalse Rincion de Begoria. And then over here we have the Rio Negro, which is the Black River, which I've heard of actually. So that's pretty wide at places. Almost a lake, but it's pretty cool. I'm just seeing some of the names here, little towns we're going to be flying by. I saw Trinidad and Florida. Some of these Spanish names. Montevideo itself is right on the coast, on the where the River Plate, as Churchill once called it, but the Rio de la Plata, where it comes out and then enters into the Atlantic Ocean, Southern Atlantic. So how are we doing? Oop, no, go back. So we're almost ready for our descent. Montevideo area traffic, TAM 5556, descending out of flight level 380 for the Monza 1 Gulf arrival for runway 24. Alright, so down we go. We're going to want 2,000 feet per minute. We want to make sure it's showing that. And then we're going to watch our speed.
To assist with customs at our destination, flight attendants will begin handing out forms momentarily. Please review and complete these forms and keep them with you for presentation upon arrival.
So we'll slowly start dialing up the speed here. You're about 25 miles behind me? Okay, that's good. 265. I'll wait for it to click up one more notch there. So 270 on our descent speed. So for our rad nav, we know we've got 109.9 dialed in, which is what we want. There is a VOR here. It's the CRR VOR. CRR. So we're going to dial that one in. And it's 116.9, which is what it shows. There's also a couple of ADFs, but the blinking that this thing does bothers me, so I'm not going to bother dialing them in since we don't really need them. We're 115 miles from the airport, and we are descending. Back on the dashboard. There's the few clouds that we were getting in the weather. So it's all looking good. Yeah, I usually do it by the city. It's a bad habit because there are a lot of places have multiple airports, so it's kind of a bad thing to do. It should be by the airport name, actually. Because even here, there's a couple airports. This is Carrasco. There's the other Samuel something is another one. So try not to follow my bad habits. Whew. Let's say it's a warm one here. Oh, they've had heat alerts at 8 o'clock in the morning. So I think it's going to be another well over 30 degrees. Although not down here. It's only 13 according to the Meteor. So I believe we're the only aircraft inbound to this airport. Just pull it. No, we're not. There's two that should be there. There's a Cargo Lux and a PUA. Not sure what PUA is. And then there's the two of us, and there's a... I don't know what DL stands for, but there's a 747 inbound as well, so... It's not too bad. Sorry, the PUA is left. He's almost landing at his destination. Looks like the cargo Lux is on its way out. And the 747 is a long way away. So we should have any traffic in the area, as far as I can see. Thanks, it only took me 2 seconds to do. Downloaded it from flightsim.to. Figured it was something to do. I wanted to get a regional airline for this series, and gotta love me a stormtrooper. Alright, so we're down through 28,000 feet. Take that over to 80. Get everybody seated now. Seated now. Let's get those properly on.
Ladies and gentlemen, the flight crew has turned on the fasten seatbelt sign. Please return to your seats and fasten your seatbelt.
So everything is good. We're holding at 270, 2,000 feet per minute, and we are on track. We're going to have to watch out, of course, for the approach phase bug. So we will go to manual heading and then do the direct to get us into the proper mode, so the aircraft doesn't wander off on us. And we're ahead of schedule again. It's very nice to see, so we should be about 10-15 minutes ahead of schedule. Yeah, so after Monza we'll do the approach mode. So we should be on the ground. It said it was an hour and 28 minutes. We're an hour and 10 now. So we'll see if we can get on the ground in 20 minutes. And take that as a on-time arrival. I do wish they'd fix this lighting glitch, though. It's rather annoying. Yeah, I know the cities as well. I didn't know that they were in different countries. It's kind of why I wanted to fly down here in South America, just to, oh, some nice clouds. Just wanted to get a look at the area and get a little bit more familiar with it. Gotta say, the first few flights flying in the mountains up in the northwest, there, Colombia and Bolivia and stuff like that, it was pretty amazing. Again, the weather should not be an issue. Oh, you can see the coast now. So here we are coming through. I don't think you can get a few tons of anything into the Spitfire. And I can't believe you're flying the Spitfire on this. Surely it doesn't have the range. 600 miles. There's 20,000 feet. Almost at low mid. Yeah, don't see eastwards back there. It's probably out of visual range. So 29 miles from Monza. So I think we're more than halfway through this series now. I think this is flight 6. Let me just see how many there are. There are, yep, there's 10 legs. There's 4 more after this. I think there's 5 more of the Asian Capitals tour, if I remember right. I know they both end of June, beginning of July. So I think the capital is somewhere over there, and we're going to basically fly down and fly on an angle and then come into land. Capital, the city. Well, I don't know if it's the capital of Uruguay or not. These are special flights done through the virtual airline I belong to. So if you go back and look at the ones we've done, you'll see the multiple legs and where we've come. But I'm not putting the full route out in advance, just to keep the suspense up about where we're going. But at the end, you'll be able to see where we've been and all the cities that we went through on the way to get to the end. All right, we should be getting down fairly close here. There's 12,000 feet, so we're going to want to start slowing her down. Bring her down to 260. Speed's climbing up a bit, so we're gonna go out on the speed brake a bit. 250. Should bring her down to 240. Just let the speed come down. Full speed brake now. Since we're slowing, I'll also slow us down to... Well, you can always go back and watch them, Danny. They're in there. They're in the live streams. If you go back, you'll see them. There were some interesting flights, especially into La Paz in Bolivia. That was a different one. Airport with a 13,000 foot elevation. So landing system's on. Lights are on.
Any carry-on items either in the seatback pocket or under the seat in front of you. Please complete all Wi-Fi related tasks and stow any larger electronics.
So once we there's the turn. Once we level off, we'll throw in the come out of heading mode. We'll go to selected heading. Then I'll go for the approach, and then we'll go to combi on the direct. Ourselves ready to go. There we go. So heading goes to manual. Performance approach phase active. Oh, she didn't do it today. Nice. So Combi's 22 miles out from Combi. We're lining up for it now. Speed's down to 240, 7,000 feet. So at the decel point, we'll go into approach phase. We'll start slowing the aircraft down to 210. And then we'll hold at 210. Again, weather is not an obstacle. It is beautiful out today. So there's the beacon of the airport, the VOR, 24 miles direct line. There's 5,000 feet. We're through the decel point. Speed going to managed mode. We're on full full braking mode, so as we start to pull out, we will slow down very quickly, which is what we want. Four 4,000 feet, we'll bring her down to 1,500. Speed coming back. Should start to very slightly slow. There we go. 13 miles from Combi. And there we go, leveling out at 3,000 feet. 2420 is going to be our intercept. Fine. Speed brakes coming in. Come up on the speed brakes. We're going to go to... How far down do we want to go here? Oh, auto brake 1. to our standard pressure, and we're going to want to dial in 1023. Get ourselves set up there. 1023. Okay, quiet. Let's see if it follows us around here. We do have the ILS. iCar is correct. 109.9. 16 miles out. Localizer is showing. The coast. Let's see the lights at the airport over there. Nice trees down here. So we're a few miles early, but it's kind of what we wanted. We wanted to be able to get ourselves all set up and ready to go. You're on final, Wayne? Oh, cool. So Ularu here, that is our intercept point. So we're going to want 2,400 feet for that. And our go-around altitude is 2,000 feet. Interesting. Okay. So once we're in, it's not long. So I'm gonna go flaps 1 when we pass Combi. Not bad. Now we're in 124. SimBrief said 128. Combi's coming up, flaps 1. Starting her turn out to get ready. Descending. Down to 2,400. It is. It's very flat. It's amazing the difference when you get out of the Andes mountain range. How flat it becomes. So hopefully it turns us to CF24. And when it does that, we'll go into approach mode. So we're at 2,400 feet. CF24 coming in. There we go. Rolling level. And we're heading in for the intercept. Approach mode is armed. And there's the airport. See the runway? Localizer is being captured. Sort of. There we go. Localizer capture. And move us over to intercept. There we are. Glide slopes alive. 10 miles. Flaps 2. Glide slope capture. Second autopilot coming online. Glide slope is captured. Vocalizer captured. Gear down. .2,000 feet. Ding the cabin.
Cabin crew seats for landing.
Montevideo area traffic, TAM 5556, established ILS, runway 24, 6 miles. There's the outer marker. So, where are we? 5 miles. Flaps 3. And flaps full. Very nice. .500 feet. Coming up. We have visual on the runway. Landing will be no issue.
500.
Autopilot's off.
400. 100 above. 300. 200 minimum.
Landing.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10. 5.
We're down. Reverser's on. Auto brakes on. .70 knots. Reversers are off. Auto brakes off. I'm gonna roll down here to Charlie. Got a little off center again, but it happens. A little bit of a crosswind coming in. Start with my pilot excuses.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached our destination. The local time is 1:01 p.m. and it's currently about 13 degrees Celsius. You can now use your mobile devices. Please remain seated until the aircraft has come to a complete stop and the seatbelt sign is turned off. Remember to use caution when opening the overhead bins, as items may have shifted during the flight. If this is your final destination, we thank you for flying with us. If you're making a connection, we encourage you to check your itinerary to ensure a smooth continuation of your journey.
And we'll go down here, turn you off, and you off, and I'm going off into the grass, aren't I? Ooh, almost. So here's the terminal, and there are no jetways. Well, there are jetways over at that one, but we're not going over there. So we're going to park at this terminal. we'll do a tight around the way. Probably at the wrong terminal, but whatever. Just hard around here. Yeah, I'll get the add-on for when we depart from here. There we go. Welcome to Uruguay. Let's see what we got. Do we have ground power? No, we don't. Okay, APU's coming up. So the parking brake is set. Nav aids are off. FCU is reset. Auto thrust and autopilot are off. NDs are back to ARC 10 and clear. Waiting for the APU here. As soon as it's up, we can get her shut down and we can go outside and watch eastbirds come in and land. 76%, 80%, 90%, and we should have APU available. There she goes. So APU bleed is now on. The APU generators are on. So we're good there. So engine masters come off. Fuel pumps will come off after the logbook. Fuel pumps are off. Beacon will come off. And the seatbelt signs. External power not required. Transponder is off. And Roger, say goodbye to the good people, will you? Alrighty. So here we are. Oh, I don't think I left my taxi light on. Oh, I did, didn't I? Bad pilot. There we go. So here we are in Montevideo. Thank you very much for joining us today. As always, if you like what I do, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It really helps the channel, keeps our little community growing. Throw a like on the video, share, hit the bell, get notified when we're going live. Stream a couple times a week, and community GA flights on Fridays, usually Sundays and Mondays are my other live streams, and then I release other videos during the week as well. Thank you very... Oh, hi Talia, welcome to Montevideo. So we will see you on the next one. Eastbirds is out there somewhere getting ready on his approach. And maybe we'll see him as we do our exit here. Have a good day. Bye for now.